Day 12 on ADHD meds. And here is a little decaf cappuccino to start out the conversation. Well, today was another interesting day. I had my doctor's appointment this morning. It was really a blood pressure appointment because I also have high blood pressure, but we also went over some of the medications and the Adderall, obviously, a little bit, and I talked to him about the fact that it really lasts about 4 hours for me, and eventually if I want to make it through an 8-hour workday, it probably would need to be increased. And so we will revisit that, and that's fine at our next appointment. And the only reason I'm seeing him so many times, because I'll see him again next week, is because I'm about to head back to Oregon, and I want to make sure obviously that I'm covered while I then continue my treatment from there. And then after that, I met with my accountant, going over some of my tax stuff, tax issues, because when I moved to Oregon and changed my residency, it really changed how I'm being taxed on my business here. And I have an S-Corp, and they get you from every angle. So now there's something called pass-through taxes, and then there are your personal taxes and your state taxes. And you get taxed as an S-Corp on the profitability of the business, which I laugh at because every penny is spoken for. I don't know where they see profit. In other words, there's a whole bunch of money. There isn't. I don't take a lot of money out. I keep most of it for our people, my staff and my employees, because I really like to treat everybody really well, and I want to also grow the practice to do more. But I was a shock to the system because the tax liability could be quite large in the next couple months, to the tune of $40,000, $50,000 or something like that. And in the past, when I would have data like this, I would act impulsively. I would probably do something without thinking it through, with this impulsive, oh my God, I have to do something, I'm going to do this and that. And oftentimes the decisions you make when you're in a frantic mode just makes things worse, right? So now I'm also seeing a therapist, and I have more tools in my tool bag. Now I'm taking a deep breath and a step back, and I'm evaluating all of the options and choices that I have to take it to the next level and make everybody happy, pay all the bills, and that's a switch, and that's definitely a switch. Now, it doesn't mean there isn't some anxiety and fear around it, but it's a lot less than it has been in the past. Like I said, in the past I would just pull some levers that probably ultimately just made the situation not better but worse in some sense. I really want to grow our company because we've helped a lot of people over 21 years. We started this a long time ago. Initially we had a small inpatient facility, and then eventually we ended up with an outpatient facility because we learned about opiate addiction, which my ex and I, when we started it, we didn't know anything about that. We were plain alcohol 30, 60, 90 days. And then people came to us that didn't get sobriety, and it was in the beginning of the opioid epidemic, so 2004, 2005. And here we are, 21 years later with 3 locations and significant patient load that we help. And there's also a goal to be medication free, myself included. I think when we're under a lot of stress, we probably need more help. And I'm not saying medication is not good. I mean, it's really a blend. You really got to learn what works for you. I mean, obviously right now I'm starting to be medicated for my ADHD, but a lot of people that are on, opiate medication really have a desire to not be on it anymore. But you have to be really careful because most of the time when people get off opiate medication, the relapse is not immediate. It's oftentimes 6 to 18 months later. And the key really is that people stay in therapy, stay connected to a community, a recovery community, and really dive into really understanding what makes you tick. And this goes back to the epigenetics I talk about. There's still not enough information, enough treatment around epigenetics and trauma. Most people are still fumbling around with what they're dealing with and in their daily lives. And I think across the board, we share our anxiety. Cost of living is higher. How do you make ends meet? How do you, take care of your family, take care of yourself, what's expected of you, and not lose your shit, when everything feels like it's come crashing down on you. And my goal is to provide more tools for that, and that's what I'm working on. So I would say today was a good day, a little bit of a shock day, but also a good day because I'm not acting impulsively on data that I was given where previously I would have. So that's what I got. Lots of love, divine feminine, more to come.